Hi guys, welcome to another short episode at MrLopezClasses.com. Today we are going to talk about the process of acceleration, more RPM, less RPM in gasoline and diesel engines. The question today is, where is located the throttle body in my diesel engines? Where is located the throttle position sensor in my diesel engine? I know that in my gasoline engine I have a throttle position sensor and I have a carburetor, I have a throttle body, some element that I move it with the throttle cable, with the gas pedal, and the engine accelerate, increase or decrease the RPMs. Okay, we are going to refresh quickly what happened in the combustion chamber during the intake stroke in both engines quickly, in diesel and gasoline engines. In gasoline engines, during the intake, the piston is going down, the intake valve stay open, piston down, intake valve open, and allow that the mixture, air and fuel enter. After that, that mixture will be compressed around 300 psi, maximum, and used before the piston reach the top dead center around 10 degrees, 12 degrees before the piston reach the top dead center. The spark ignite that mixture and produce the explosion and send the piston down. This is in gasoline engine. In diesel engine, when the piston is going down during the intake valve open and allow that air, use air, only air, enter and fill the cylinder completely with air. When the piston reach the bottom, the piston start going up, and compress the air. When the air is fully compressed, more than 400 psi, and the temperature in the combustion chamber is around 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, 1075 degrees Fahrenheit. In that moment, just before the piston reach the top dead center, around 4 degrees before, 6 degrees before, the injector spray fuel, atomized fuel in liquid form, and that fuel, the diesel, if the temperature and the pressure in the combustion chamber is perfect, ignite and send the piston down. Oh wow, this is the situation. In a diesel engine, I compress pure air. In a gasoline engine, I compress the mixture, fuel and air. In a diesel engine, if the pressure is more than 400 psi and the temperature is around 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, in that moment, the injector open, spray, atomize the fuel in liquid form and produce the explosion and send the piston down. Okay, that's different. In other words, in a diesel engine, the piston draws the air constantly. Doesn't matter if the intake manifold is open, naturally aspirated, or if the intake manifold is connected with the turbo and the turbo introduce air at high pressure in the intake manifold. This is when the engine is turbocharged and supercharged. Okay. And what happened in the diesel engine? Okay, the RPM in the diesel engine depend of the fuel injection pump and depend of the amount of fuel entering in the combustion chamber. The amount of fuel entering in the combustion chamber is controlled by the governor. The governor in the fuel injection pump. You remember in my class I explained the governor. I disassembled the governor and I showed the counterweights. Okay, that mechanism sends the load and sends other parameters, and according with that send the fuel at high pressure into the injector, and the injector open and spray the fuel in the combustion chamber. The input of air is constant, and is practically equal. Doesn't matter the RPMs, but the RPMs depend of the amount of fuel injected for the fuel injection pump, and the fuel injection pump inject more or less fuel depending of the governor. That mechanism, the governor, control the amount of fuel entering if the system is mechanical. If the system is electronic, the fuel injection pump is not mechanical fuel injection pump. It's electrical fuel injection pump like this. And that electrical fuel injection pump depends on that governor, that electronic governor that is controlled with the cable, with the throttle, or with the gas pedal. That particular engine the fuel injection pump, the high pressure pump, is electrical pump, and the throttle is electronic, connected with cable with the throttle. Oh, that's different. And look at this diesel engine with a common rail fuel injection. The fuel injection pump is a mechanical fuel injection pump. That the input of the fuel, that the output enter in the common rail, and in the common rail it's pressurized at constant pressure, and the output per each injector enter in each injector. Of course, each injector open and close depending of the signal coming from the computer. This is the common rail system. Yes, the RPM in all of those diesel engines depend of the amount of fuel entering in the combustion chamber. No, it's not about the throttle position. It's not about the air, because the air is constant coming from the turbo and enter in the combustion chamber. And the engine accelerate more or less depending of the amount of fuel. And the amount of fuel depends on the governor. And the governor calibrate that movement depending of the load and depending of external conditions. Okay, in that case, if, for example, in a generator, the load depends on the breakers that you have activated in the generator. If the motor diesel is connected with the transmission in a truck, or depend on the inclination, this is the load, and depend on the weight on the truck, the governor with the counterweights calibrate those external factors and send the appropriate amount of fuel to increase or decrease the RPMs. In gasoline engines, the acceleration depends on the engine system. For example, if the engine is carbureted like this, the carburetor mixed the fuel and mixed the air, and with the flap, with the butterfly, is connected with the cable with the throttle. Okay, this is the carbureted engine. The other engine is the throttle body engine with a naturally aspiration like this. That element only controls the amount of air, because the amount of air is entering on the injectors connected to the common rail. And the other engine, gasoline engine, is the TBI. It's a throttle body with a couple of injectors, or in some cases one injector on top. It's only the flap to control the amount of air, and the injectors inject the fuel directly into the intake manifold, and if the valves are open, the intake valves, the mixture enter in the combustion chamber. Okay, those are the different type of fuel injection system in gasoline engines. But in gasoline engines, the throttle control the amount of air and fuel. In diesel engines, the throttle control the amount of fuel depending of the position of the link in the governor of the fuel injection pump, if it's mechanical system, or depending of the position of the governor, electronic governor, if it's electronic fuel injection system.